Hey there, guys. Quick video for you today. I'm sure many of you have heard, but I want you to know the details of this. The Biden plea deal that was discussed a couple of weeks ago, that's not a done deal. In fact, the judge seems a little bit pissed off. You'll remember that Hunter Biden had the whole tax evasion thing and possession of a firearm while being an illegal user of illegal drugs, right? Crack cocaine, to be more specific. Well, you'll remember in that case, he pled down to some BS charges, and the mainstream legacy media just swallowed it. I mean, hook, line, and sinker. They were like, oh yeah, we agree. Meanwhile, when we see guys that got, a quarter bag of weed, they go to prison for, 6 years or whatever. This dude's over here on camera, on video, everything, smoking crack cocaine, waving a gun around, all that good stuff. And we're all supposed to think, he's a reform guy, or maybe he wasn't using whenever he had the gun, even though he literally has a crack pipe and a gun. Well, the judge in the case didn't seem real happy with the plea deal. Last month, Biden was charged with possession of a firearm by a person who's a known drug user, a felony. He had a Colt Cobra 38 special for 11 days in October of 2018. He agreed to enter into a diversion agreement, which means that he would not technically plead guilty to the crime. As long as he adhered to the terms of the agreement, the case would be wiped from his record. If not, the deal would be withdrawn. The charge carries a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison. Well, U.S. District Court Judge Marilyn Noreco, who was appointed by President Donald Trump, said she was concerned about the language in the diversion agreement and suggested the lawyers get back together and discuss it. The judge also wasn't real happy with the immunity deal that apparently Hunter Biden struck. In fact, claiming that they had never seen anything like this. In fact, I've never seen anything like this where someone's going to get immunity for any crimes in the future, essentially is what it boiled down to. The president's son was expected to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax counts of willful failure to pay federal income tax as part of a plea deal to avoid jail time on a felony gun charge. Prosecutors on Wednesday said Hunter Biden pleading guilty to the 2 misdemeanor tax offenses would not immunize him from future charges. So I guess that's a little bit of a correction there. It implied that he was. The judge asked whether a potential violation of the Foreign Agents Registration Act was under consideration, but prosecutors were tight-lipped on that matter. Now, in somewhat of a stunning turn of events, the plea deal is off. And Hunter Biden pled not guilty today, which means there's going to be a trial. Hunter Biden now will be on trial. The plea deal fell apart during his first court appearance today, and he pleaded not guilty as federal prosecutors confirmed the president's son is still under federal investigation. Hunter was expected to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax counts of willful failure to pay federal income tax as part of the plea deal to avoid jail time on a felony gun charge, which is really crazy that you can plea on 2 things to wipe a third thing that's unrelated completely off. But I guess whenever your last name is Biden, that happens. Apparently, I'm not the only one that thinks that's ridiculous, because the judge did not accept this plea agreement, questioning the constitutionality, specifically the diversion clause and the immunity Hunter Biden would receive. Another thing that probably pissed this judge off, you'll know that there's a weird turn of events that happened in the last couple of days where somebody close to the Biden attorneys lied and contacted the courts to say that they were actually with the Republicans and that they were wanting to remove some evidence from this case. Well, they got caught. It wasn't anybody that was on the Republican side who was trying to push for these charges against Hunter. It was actually somebody from the Biden administration calling the court system to lie to them, tell them they were somebody who they were not, to try to get them to dismiss or remove evidence unconstitutionally, unlawfully, however you want to put that, but to pretty much manipulate our court system on a simple basis of lying to somebody, lying to a court system. Now, I think somebody's going to get disbarred over this. I can't imagine that this is just going to go unseen, unheard of, and act like it's not a big deal, a little bit of a slap on the wrist. And again, I believe that that is probably what prompted this judge to probably relook at this, even though it's not just some small case, but to relook at this and go, wait a minute, and then not accept this plea, because I think she now realizes this is a scam and that this is not what the Constitution is supposed to be about, and there's no way she could apply the Constitution fairly in this particular case and allow this type of plea deal. So again, to repeat one more time, Hunter Biden is going to trial. He will be tried. Now, I don't know if there's me not being an attorney. I don't know what other things are in place, what other things that could somehow or another get this nutbag crackhead taken to where he doesn't have to go to trial. I don't know if there's another step that can be thrown in there or what, but at this point, with him pleading not guilty, with that plea deal being pulled, he's going to trial. The plea deal is to avoid going to trial. Now that that's off the table and he pled not guilty, now he's got to prove why he's not guilty. But in America, you're innocent until proven guilty. So I'm going to give him that. I've seen the pictures. I've seen the laptop stuff. I've seen the evidence. If I'm on the jury, he's guilty. But let our court system do its thing. If he comes out of this with all of this evidence that we have seen and they still find him not guilty, people will start questioning our justice system a lot more eagerly and a lot more stringently than what they do now. And people are very much doing it already. So it would be a really good thing if they let justice serve in this case. But when your last name is Biden, who knows what we're going to get?
God save the Queen, man.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.